them better run and go and tell them, y'all. Sound the alarm, recognize how they ball. Live it up to the fullest, gotta be the boss.
Hi and welcome to Iceman's Tank School. Are you tired of being the guy on the other end of my barrel all the time? Are you tired of being the one who's always blown up in the middle of nothing? Are you tired of being set on fire while you're in the open? Would you like to be awesome? Would you like to kill more times than you get killed? Would you like to know how to handle yourself in the terrain and how to angle your tank and how to hit other enemies in the right spots? Then listen up. Before we really get into this, some ground rules. Do not ever be the first motherfucker to die. I see scouts, light tanks, mediums doing this all the time. It is pointless. Look at these two jokers here. Light tanks. One is rushing across kind of late, the other one is standing around in the open, and 40 seconds into the battle we are 2 or 3 tanks down. Unfrigging believable. If you're on my team, you don't pull that kind of shit. You'll end up like this guy.
Perhaps you misunderstood my orders. Perhaps I did not make myself clear. Well, sir, this must be made very clear. You, sir, with your cavalry, are the eyes of this army. Without your cavalry, we are made blind. That has already happened once. It must never, never happen again.
You got that? Okay. Second item. You need to know what your tank is good at. You need to know its strengths. You need to know its weaknesses. The pattern, for example. Highly maneuverable, good shooting on the move, quite good aiming time, and a high penetration gun, but no armor. What do you do with it? Of course, you go in the open and heavy tank some heavy tanks. No, you don't, you idiot. You stay hull down. You stick up your turret, which by the way has very little armor. So you need to stick it up there, you need to shoot very quickly and then move. Okay, like that. Shoot, move. Because he will be shooting back. And as opposed to you, he might just have some armor. I ought to be shooting gold here since they nerfed the pattern. Gun can't really penetrate anything. Anyway, you get the point. None of these jokers can shoot at me, while I shoot happily at them. And there you go. He shot me in the turret straight through. The description says this thing has a sloped, heavily armored turret. It doesn't. Has no armor. Just forget about it. But I do have superior aiming time, and I'm using that to my advantage. Item 3. Pick your targets. I'm shooting these guys. High value target appears, I switch, and in this particular game I'm so happy I did that because he gets shot just before being able to finish me off. Item 4. Angle your tank to deflect shots. I don't know how many times I've seen people just place their tank straight on the enemy, presenting their lower frontal plate, and it gets penetrated and they get killed. Also, when you shoot, make sure you hit some 70% plus of the shots fired. Good, careful aiming, and guy blows up. Now, I'm in a fairly well armored tank here. You know, the whole armor is nothing to write home about, but it is fairly good. Now, I can shoot this boy, and most people at this point would go forward to shoot him, but I noticed the FOC 155 behind him. Huge penetration. He will most likely shoot my lower frontal plate and penetrate me. He missed the first shot, okay, but he has more than one shot in that autoloader of his. Ah, no, the enemy tank. Notice how I wriggle my tank here. And look at his gun swerving from side to side until he finally dings me. Because I angled my tank, I wriggled it, and he hit me in the wrong spot. Here's one of these battles where, you know, just everything goes wrong. We're a few minutes into the battle, and we're 6 tanks down. But what this is a demonstration of what you can do with a tank if you are A, economical with your health, B, you angle it correctly, and C, you make sure that almost every shot you put out does damage. Just observe and learn. Item 5. Pick your fights. Know when to be aggressive and when to be cautious. This Churchill up here is picking a fight with me in a Black Prince. Obviously I have more armor than him, I have a better gun than him, he's standing in the bloody open while he's doing it, and obviously he's getting humiliated. He did angle his tank a little bit, but now he's stopped angling his tank and he dies.
You must look to your division.
General Lee. I have no defeat.
You see, that's what happens if you don't listen, you die. Now, try and work with your team. Most people on your team, just realize this, out of the 15, 1 or 2 might take advice. The majority will not take advice, and they will remain noobs forever. That is okay. Now, notice what we've done here. I mean, a platoon of 3 and 1 other tank destroyer has kind of picked up on this. We are blocking the entrance here, but we are not being stupid motherfuckers and dying. We're basically observing and tracking, and we're letting the 2 tank destroyers in the back do the damage. What an ingenious idea! Rather than going out in front of the enemy and getting blown to small little bits, we let the big guns shoot at the enemy, and we just spot them and track them. So basically the 4 tanks here are holding off 5 enemy tanks. We are taking almost no damage. I think I will take 1 shot in this entire session. We will destroy 3 tanks, damage 2 or 3 other tanks heavily, and then we will proceed to attack. Item 7. Situational awareness. Be aware of where you are covered from, where the enemy can shoot you from, where you can shoot the enemy. You need to know the map, you need to know where you can be in cover, you need to plan how you're going to move from cover to cover, not stand around in the open like a frigging noob and get killed. You need to know where you can shoot from new positions and what new angles that gives you. And you need to plan that in real time as you're moving about the map. This is a fairly good example of how that works.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Got one position, no more shots from here. I look at the minimap. Where is the next good position? Well, no, there's some rocks over here. There's a shot. I will take it while I'm in the open, which I would not normally do. But I have decided or concluded based on the minimap that I'm probably not in too much danger. I take one shot. Again, economizing my health. I'm full health at the moment, so I can take some chances. I can be fairly aggressive, and then as my health goes down, I will be less and less aggressive, unless I really need to. Now look at this bozo here. He was standing on the highest point on the frigging map, and then rolling backwards into the open. Guys, this is what you need to not be doing. Take that guy as an example of how bad you might be today, and that is the state you want to get away from. The Crusader behind me, or Covenant or whatever, is being in cover. You know, that is a far better way of doing things. Rolling out, taking the shot, rolling back. There's another idiot going in the open. Now I am standing halfway in the open, but I have deduced from the minimap that I am not in significant danger. Actually, the only two tanks dangerous, really, is the Su-76. Shot me there, telling me this is a bad spot now, and I need to find them cover. Now, here's a precarious situation. On my left, I have two tank destroyers. My front, I have at least one or two tanks. Here we go. But again, I conclude I have sufficient, but not full cover, but sufficient cover that I can stay here for a little while. I'm looking around just to check that no one's getting a shot on me, because it is a little bit of an open position to be in. A word on caution versus aggressiveness. You cannot recover from being dead because you were too aggressive and got nuke killed. You can typically recover from having been a little bit too cautious. Basically, I try and keep as many guns in the game shooting at the enemy for as long as possible, because that wins the battles.
Didn't penetrate their armor. Enemy is hit. The commander is hit. Penetration. Gotcha.
Here's an example of me blatantly ignoring all of my own advice, going in the open, in a slow tank, being surrounded, having enemies left, right and center. Unfortunately, they're all noobs and die.
Enemy is hit. Ricochet. Target hit. They're knocked out. Penetration.
I suppose they themselves have gotten their dander up and they charge over the hill going into the open, forgetting to aim and doing a lot of stupid shit. The problem is, I won't leave. I've got lots of armor, I've got lots of hit points, and I won't leave.
Enemy armor is hit. Didn't even scratch them. Enemy is hit.
Speaking of angling, look at this neat little trick. Bing! Boom!
Armor is destroyed.
You just got pwned, bitch.
We're immobilized.
Now then, stats. Your stats do represent, in some odd fashion, your ability to influence the outcome of the battle. Win rate does depend a lot on your team. Average XP does depend a lot on whether you have premium or not. The personal rating, I don't give much for that. It is dependent on total number of battles and total number of victories, which is ridiculous because if you've fought more battles badly than someone who's fought fewer battles very well, you still have a high score. Average damage per battle and hit ratio, on the other hand, are independent on how many battles you've fought once you're past 5,000 or so. And they are a good indicator of playstyle. Now, 1840 some average damage is reasonable. 72% accuracy is good, good enough anyway. Medals don't really say much, but I'm happy with the Bolter's medals, which are now taking out of the game, I believe. Silly, but anyway, yeah, really, I'm not sure what if that signifies anything. But sniper medals are good. Lots of scout medals is a warning signal, means you're dealing with a suicide. Your survival rate, you should be aiming somewhere between 30 and 50%. I believe that's reasonable. You don't have to be too cautious and always survive. Then we can look at the individual tanks. You can look at the win rates. You ignore the first two because there's not enough battles. First three really. There's not enough battles to really say anything. But the rain before it got nerfed into oblivion. Very nice. Of course, there's a couple of other tanks that I've done well in, but these are stats that are reasonably good. Reasonably good. And the 100 before they changed it. Today I don't fancy the 100 at all. The Batchat I don't fancy it either. The M46 pattern has been nerfed into oblivion. But those are, yeah, they're interesting. What you should do with your stats is you should know what they mean, and you should look at them. You should look at them at every single battle, and you should figure out what the fuck you did wrong because you got blown up like a noob, and then you learn from it. And that's what the stats are there for. They're an indication. They're not the truth, but they're an indication of how good you are and how much you can improve. So look at them, learn, examine, and learn from the experience, and try and improve. If you don't want to try and improve, that's fine. Be one of the utter noobs that I kill on a daily basis. It's your call. And then, of course, this is a game, so you should have some fun. So we'll end with a sequence of, I don't know, having some fun in a gun that shoots really quickly, which is the Easy 8. Oh, a particularly favourite tank of mine. Actually, I hate it because of the low penetration. But I guess it'll do. So, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will learn, and then I will have better players on my side, and oh wait, I'll have better players on the other side as well. Anyway, you might just learn something. Either way, let me know in the comments. If you think I'm an arrogant fuck, then let me know. If you have questions or things you would like me to elaborate on, just pop the questions down there. And until next time, stay frosty and have some fun.
is hit. Enemy arm. Got him. Got him. We're immobilized. Critical hit. We didn't penetrate their armor. Get going. Penetration. Penetration. Gotcha.
Now, there are, of course, many other things you can do, many other tricks you can learn. So take this episode 1 as an introduction to not being sucky at playing World of Tanks. If this video gets enough views and interest and comments, I'm sure there will be some comments about me being an arrogant sod and not doing this, that and the other. Well, but that's fine, leave them all down there. I've got thick skin, you have to have playing this game.
They're knocked out.
But leave it down there. If it gets enough views, enough interest from the community, I'll make an episode 2.